Welcome to Dragon Week. Today we will be talking about dragons and what they are and how to use them in fantasy. Because I think a lot of people get overly hung up on the rules. This is, of course, a part of Ginny D's and Pointy Hat's Dragon Week, and we are happy to participate this year as our first year being a D&D channel. What is a dragon? Dragons, of course, are not a real animal, but they are a real staple in folklore and history, and the name is very old. And just like zombies and many fantasy tropes, an exact definition has always eluded dragons. People like to say a dragon has to be a true dragon, being a dragon with 4 arms, wings, a tail, and a mouth. But that's just not true. It was once true for British heraldry, where there was a difference made between dragons, lindworms, and wyverns, and all of the things. But that's only true if you were making heraldry for British heralds. And that's just not true anymore. There's no situation in which I'm making heraldry for the British. And if I am, I'm doing something very right in my life. But I think a lot of people get overly hooked up on the standard definitions, especially D&D's standard definition of a dragon. It sort of drags them down. Right? We're all playing D&D and we have access to D&D's basic stat blocks. But that doesn't limit what our worlds can look like. Many people, especially modern people, no longer think of dragons as talking, but feel like they have to put talking dragons into their game because that's what's in standard D&D. And I don't think that's true. I do have talking dragons in my game for a whole series of reasons. I think they're really cool. And in my world, dragons are descended from gods, so it makes sense for them to talk. But if you want a beast apex predator dragon like Drogon or like Toothless, two very different ideas of the unintelligent dragon, I think that you can do that. I think it's very easy even to recognize the intelligence score of an ancient red dragon and make it feel like it has that score without just changing it. In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition and Dungeons & Dragons 1D&D, red dragons, ancient red dragons, what I see as the pinnacle of the standard dragon, have an 18 intelligence. Now, if you don't want to have a talking dragon, and you don't want to need to muffle around with stats, because I do think it's important for a challenge rating 24 creature to have a high enough intelligence to be able to just to defend against spells, right? You can't give it a 6. I think the idea of having an ancient red dragon, this gargantuan creature, and making it feel like a beast that's not yelling English at you, but it's also intelligent. And how do you make it feel like it has an 18 intelligent, it's probably smarter than your barbarian, without just making it like a monologuing human person? The way that I think you could really play into it by just getting rid of the ability to talk, and we'll go into talking dragons soon. But I think just the idea of playing into the apex predator nature of dragons, because that's long what they've been, is there's the big powerful thing a knight needs to kill. So the idea of an ancient red dragon that you make into a threat because it stalks its prey, because it's setting traps. Plenty of animals set traps. Maybe it kills a cow or just wounds a cow and then waits for other cows to come check on it and then kills them and just leaves the prey there to continue luring more and more. And then it starts killing farmers the same way. And this is a tactic that, if you think about it, works really well on people. Because most animals, when they see danger, they flee. Animals, like humans, we come together. We get inside of a singular building. If I'm a big ancient red dragon, maybe instead of just attacking the town, I do some smaller attacks. I get them all to flee into the stronghold, and then I melt it. Right? I don't have to be intelligent to come up with that plan. I don't need to be able to talk to come up with that plan. But it's an intelligent plan. And it's the sort of thing that you could see a wild boar doing. Right? Dragons have had such a large presence over the years that they have so many aspects that you can sort of pick and choose. As an example, right, recently me and a friend of mine were having a conversation where we were trying to stump each other on the franchises we watch, and we had a whole list, but we were mainly asking each other questions about Star Wars. And I stumped him by asking how lightsabers work, because it's a hilarious question to ask to a Star Wars fan, because you think you know, it's just, there's 17 explanations. And then he threw back at me, how many types of zombies are there in Star Wars? And the only answer is countless, because you can't define zombie in a way that makes sense in Star Wars. Because you have the bug guys, there's so many different ways where it's like, either is it a spreadable disease that controls people's minds? Is it a form of undeath where it brings people back from the dead? Is it both? Like, all of those things happen. And they all exist. There's countless versions if you loosen your definition enough. But dragons are much the same way, right? We've had dragon stories for thousands of years. It's older than most modern religions. We have a lot of ways of saying them. Right, like if you look at actual dragon history, they have a strong association with the ocean. A strong association with the ocean. Sea serpents and dragons used to be the same word, and then we pulled them apart from each other. Right, Tiamat, the god that we gave to our dragons, was a god of creation from the ocean in Mesopotamia. Right, so if you wanted to make dragons just these primordials of the ocean, it would very much work. Right, like all a dragon really needs is to be powerful, and the definition of powerful is very loose for your world. Right, like in folklore, a dragon usually could be defeated by a singular knight. Right, like it's a thing a person could fight. It's like bear level threat. You have a horse, can probably just fence it, and you'll win. Doesn't quite work like that anymore. But, yeah, dragons are cool. I love dragons. I also really like the vanity of a dragon. Right, like a dragon will... I sort of get this in my mind from the fact that they're so associated with heraldry. Like, they will do propaganda in my world. And I think it's very compelling. Like, they care about their public appearance in a way that, like, usually kings only. So, like... yeah, like they'll have parades and they'll have all these things. And Boris is the only one in this continent, so he was the only presence of this. One of the few dragons in my world to actually be forced to live in a cave, because I've just fully decided to give them palaces. It's just cool. Like the idea of there just being a continent where there's architecture made for humans and the next set there's architecture made for dragons is so funny to me. Because it's just completely different scales. But yeah, dragons are cool. My partner in this channel, Robin, will be making a video about, they made a bunch of subclasses for this, because I'm the DM and they're the player of the pair of us. So they have made a bunch of subclasses based on dragons for this, and that will be coming out tomorrow on Friday. Have a great time and enjoy Dragon Week.